Ahmadinejad is finally safe. She survived 2 months of torture, imprisoned in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Germany offers victims of torture special protection. She arrived in Berlin just a few weeks ago. Some 4,000 persecuted men and women escaped from Iran through Turkey following last year's presidential elections, which were in Western circles considered a fraud. In her own country, Fahimeh taught music and English. She also wrote poems and joined the Green Movement to oppose the government of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Her critical web blog was swiftly extinguished by the regime's watchdogs. Fahimeh is haunted by memories of bloody repression.
In one of the demonstrations, with masses of people everywhere, especially on the two main city squares, a man was beaten very violently in the face by the state forces. There was blood everywhere. Someone tried to stop the bleeding, but the man died. People started weeping, and then they shouted out against the regime. I can only tell you about half of what I went through in prison. I was abused and beaten. I was completely broken in prison. It's very difficult for me too.
We're going to meet a therapist at Berlin's Center for Torture Victims, Matthias Polivka. The center is co-financed by the European Union. People from all over the world try to get help here. There is a long waiting list. Polivka says Iran uses both physical and psychological torture.
Yes, there is torture there, definitely. Simulated executions, abject humiliation, rapes. The sexual violence is practiced on women and men. Every state must know that if it uses torture, it loses absolutely its moral foundations.
Trauma therapy tries to rebuild in each person's mind a feeling of safety. It takes time. Mervaj Jafargolizadeh spent 24 days in prison. It was too much for her to talk about. She's now active with the Association of Iranian Refugees in Berlin, for instance in preparations for a demonstration here against Iran's death penalty. In Tehran, Mervaj worked as a theatre actress, and she wrote plays about the discrimination against women. None of her plays were approved by the state censors.
Women lack even the most elementary rights in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Women's rights are nowhere in the constitution. A wife cannot ask for a divorce. A woman cast out by her husband doesn't have the right to keep her children. Without her husband's authority, she's not even allowed to leave the house.
The president of the Refugee Association tells us how he feels Europe should act in all its dealings with Iran.
Apply pressure, apply pressure, apply pressure. Not just in areas of nuclear and security policy, but elsewhere as well. All relations with Iran should be linked to concrete improvements for human rights in Iran.
Neither Europe nor its partners would want a state with a low regard for people to have a nuclear weapon. They harbour serious doubts that Iran's nuclear program is only aimed at civil use. A group known as 5+1 represents the international community in talks with Iran. It means the 5 permanent UN Security Council members plus Germany. Omid Nuripur, a member of the German Bundestag parliament, has Iranian and German nationality and is security policy spokesman for the Green Party.
I believe that the Iranian administration wants to build an atomic bomb as quickly as possible. at least since the fraudulent presidential election. We've been dealing with a military dictatorship. This dictatorship lies about everything. It denies that recently there were secret prisons and that these may still exist. And it denies that people taking part in demonstrations were targeted and shot intentionally. These denials come out of a mouthpiece that goes by the name of Ahmadinejad.
Gehört zum allgemeinen Sprechblasen eines Megafons wie Ahmadinejad.
Iran's ambassador to Berlin says forcefully that the nuclear question should not be politicized, and so we pose the question openly: is the Islamic Republic of Iran trying to get the atomic bomb?
Okay, great.
Definitely no. Using stockpiling of nuclear bomb is, as we call it, haram or forbidden. Now we have capability for enrichment. They cannot bombard it. They cannot abduct our scientists. This technology is there. It should be recognized. We should be considered as one of the members of nuclear club, like 10, 12 countries, Japan, Brazil, Argentina. And we are committed, religious-wise and international law-wise, not to divert to weapons. And we are ready to give any type of guarantee.
Mr. Amano, Euronews, international TV station. What could be a positive signal to break the deadlock with Iran?
Dialogue.
This is the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Experts and politicians say the reason there have been no substantive discussions with Tehran since late 2009 is that the government ignored the demands of the international community regarding Iran's nuclear program.
Iran has not provided the necessary cooperation to permit the agency to confirm that all nuclear material in Iran is in peaceful activities.
You have not touched in your state.
And now, Iranian officials have said Iran is ready to restart negotiations, possibly by early this November or before, though skeptics continue to wonder about Tehran's real agenda. Fahima's poem Hope rings with humanity shot through with political implications. It speaks of streets emptied of people, a vacuum of desperation, yet it also speaks of a movement to refill the streets with enthusiasm so great it reddens the sky.
جاده خالی از عبور رهگذر هر نگاهی ناامید بر قفل در ناگهان شوری عظیم آمد پدید شرمگین شد آسمان از آنچه دید آخرین امید شب در هم شکست گل به اندوه و فغان بر گل نشست سایه‌ای مانند نور از ره رسید قطره بارانی ز شوق او چکید آسمان بر زیر پایش گریه کرد غم به پایان آمد از این نای سرد یک عبور گرم و یک احساس ناب چشم و جان و دیده هر دو پر ز آب جاده اینک پر از نور و امید میدهد آغاز صبحی را نوید